From Hillary Clinton's email controversy to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's high-stakes address to Congress, heavy political hitters have been making headlines this week. So what do the American people think? Lee Carter is here again, and we're happy to have her from Maslansky Partners, and is here with doing some dial work behind the scenes to find out the reaction when people saw everything. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you so much.
All right, the big news this week, the Prime Minister comes to Congress and makes his speech. Let's listen to a little of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've come here today to tell you we don't have to bet the security of the world on the hope that Iran will change for the better. We don't have to gamble with our future and with our children's future. We can insist that restrictions on Iran's nuclear program not be lifted for as long as Iran continues its aggression in the region and in the world.
Wow. Your grade?
My grade overall here was an A-. Now, we tested his whole speech, and parts of it did really well. Parts of it were a little bit slow. Nothing was negative. A lot was positive. And what he did here, he was very forward-thinking. He was optimistic. He proposed a solution, and people really responded to him.
Listen to this. Look at the Democratic line above the Republican line the whole time.
Yes, it was pretty amazing.
All right, so the liberals liked it too. All right, let's go to something else that happened this week. The former First Lady, former Secretary of State and Senator from New York, spoke in front of Emily's List, and she made this statement.
Don't you want to see more women running for mayor and governor who will put our families first? Don't you want to see more women running for Congress who will follow in the footsteps of Barbara Mikulski and champion equal pay and equal opportunity? And I suppose it's only fair to say, don't you someday want to see a woman president of the United States of America?
The grade. B-.
B-. Now, look, overall, Republicans obviously went down. Democrats love what she had to say. Basically, this is one of those kinds of messages. It's motherhood, it's apple pie. Of course we want women to be doing more things on both sides of the aisle. But what Republicans said right now is they're really having trouble trusting her. Everything she's doing seems very self-serving, very calculated. So they're just saying,
right.
You know, what are you telling me? There's nothing new here. I want to hear something fresh. If you're going to really make a run at this, do something different.
You're the dial professional, but the Republicans' number is low. I think that might be more indicative of Hillary than women. Like it was women president, but the person saying it is very polarizing.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially right now. People are really having a hard time trusting her.
Right, I guess so. That'll probably be next week's, I sense. Meanwhile, it was time for the State Department to answer for Hillary Clinton. One of those people asked to answer was Marie Harf. How did she do?
There was no prohibition on using a non-state.gov account for official business as long as it's preserved. We reached out to all of the former secretaries of state to ask them to provide any records they had. Secretary Clinton sent back 55,000 pages of documents to the State Department very shortly after we sent the letter to her. These 55,000 pages covered her time, the breadth of her time at the State Department. Secretary Kerry is the first Secretary of State to rely primarily on a state.gov account. So what Secretary Clinton did was by no means unusual.
Wow, you need a miner's cap to dig deep enough to find both those lines for Republicans and Democrats. It got a D.
It got a D. This one was absolutely horrible. This is one of those cases, the facts don't set you free. 55,000 pages, what does that even mean? Is that all of them? Is it some of them? Was she calculated in what she did? Absolutely. Like, who cares that Kerry, didn't have one either? What we really want to know is, are Americans safe? Right. She seems so calculated. Just didn't work.
Well, Lee Carter, you worked, and we appreciate that. A big week in news, and we got the three best headlines and how people reacted. Thank you, Lee.